Welcome to 3 Levels Deep. I'm Alex, and with me are Santo.
Hello, hello.
And Matt.
Howdy.
Not the other Matt that's sometimes been on our podcast. Don't get confused. It's very important that you understand which 3 levels we're on today. Enough of the puns. So today we have an episode of just kind of some news items. Things have been happening in the gaming world, believe it or not. And we've also got some stuff from Matt today. Some things he's been playing and some things we've all been doing. And we've really all been just playing Risk of Rain 2. So we have less to talk about today. We do have a really funny video that Santa posted to the YouTube channel, though. If you like Risk of Rain 2, you should check it out.
Also, if you like Eurobeat.
Yeah, that's
Who doesn't like Eurobeat?
Listen, okay, when I'm driving, I can't listen to Eurobeat. It's too dangerous. I was doing some running at the track next to my house here, and I put on some Initial D songs, and the temptation to just take like the loop like at like a 30-degree angle. Just my body just like body leans was very strong.
I get that. One time I was biking home from work and I was listening to In the Air Tonight, and the drum solo came up. My hands came off of the handlebars and I just air drummed along to it.
Yeah, see, and you have to have some speed on a bicycle to keep it stable too. So you can only do that at speed, which makes it more dangerous.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so lots of Risk of Rain 2. We've been playing Eclipse Mode, which is a scaling difficulty mode. Every time you beat it with a character, it gets progressively more and more challenges added to it. I've completed all the challenges with a couple characters, but we've been kind of like just messing around, doing some multiplayer runs that usually end up with bad decisions.
Yeah, I was actually very, very disappointed because we had one run that was incredible. It was so my character was so overpowered that I killed the secret boss in the game in seconds. Which is insane, because that on the hardest, on Monsoon difficulty. But yeah, totally crazy how. And I tried to take a whole bunch of video shots to do a fun edit, and it totally broke because I was using the wrong hotkeys, and I was turning on and off my instant replay function with my video card instead of actually taking instant replay videos, and I'm so choked that I didn't get them because that run was like impossible to recreate.
Yeah. So yeah, check out the YouTube channel for a fun Risk of Rain video. We're thinking of maybe putting up some more content in the future, like tier lists and stuff, if we just get our act together and actually record them. And in fairness, there's a lot of items in Risk of Rain to put in a tier list. That'll actually take a lot of time.
Yeah.
But other than that, the only other thing that I've played in any capacity recently is it's a testament to how marketing works. Because after the Pokemon Presents, which Matt actually put up a reaction and discussion of that Pokemon Direct on the channel, so check that out. I went back into Pokemon Unite and the Pokemoba and was playing that a little bit. And it was funny logging in. It's just like, you last logged in 309 days ago. Because they're doing their first year anniversary, and generally any kind of mobile gacha-ish game, when the anniversaries come along, that's the time to go back in because you usually get a bunch of free shit.
Did you check out that all Pikachu mode, or has that not
Absolutely
come up yet?
not. It's there. I don't want to play
all
it.
Pikachu. Oops, all Pikachu.
That just sounds boring as hell. No, but Pokemon Unite 1 year later, it's amazing how things change. It's even more amazing when things stay the exact fucking same. The actual main game mode, there's a couple number tweaks, I think, and new Pokemon, and that's it. Like, the main map feels the exact same. They made Zapdos slightly less swingy, but still insanely swingy. After not playing for a year, I still went in and absolutely dunked on everybody. Like, it was sad, honestly.
I feel like it's because it's free to play and it's Pokemon, you've got a lot of kids
Oh, yeah.
playing it. Because, like, even I played a little bit when it first came out. I'm not a MOBA person at all. But even I barely lost any matches.
Yeah. My first match back was actually, they matched me up with all bots, as they do. But didn't tell me they were bots.
As they do.
Yeah. But, trying to view all the trainer profiles, every single one of them in the match was set to private for some reason. And also, they were moving around like AIs. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, so just been playing a little bit of that. They've actually added a lot more Pokemon than they thought they did. Because, like, when it started out, I thought, like, oh, they're releasing Pokemon at a pretty slow pace here, actually. But now it's like, whoa, there's this many Pokemon in it now? That's actually, like, almost too many. Like, and Tyranitar's going to be out by the time this episode's posted. So,
I mean, they really could have a roster the size of League's roster if they wanted to.
Bigger.
Bigger
if they really
even,
wanted
yeah.
to.
How many Pokemon are there now? Like, not
Over 800.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say it's like 900 or something.
Coming November, yes.
Yeah, it'll definitely be into 900. As for whether it'll eclipse 1,000, don't know yet.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I still think that Pokemon Unite's pretty fun if... the only problem I really have with it is that, like, the matches are fairly swingy. And that, like, sometimes, yeah, I'll, like, be absolutely dunking on the team mercilessly. And that's, like, it's kind of fun, but it's not that tense. And then other times, like, I just get stuck with teammates that are just the worst. Like, I had a match where I got 20 kills. Like, I got more kills than the entire enemy team combined.
Yeah.
And I lost because the rest of my teammates were terrible.
Classic.
Yeah, so...
Classic team gaming. With randos.
Just a little check. 905 Pokemon currently.
Oh, okay. So
And that's not counting any of the new ones that have been shown off yet for the new gen. As of Legends Arceus, 905.
So yeah, they might actually reach the 4-digit mark with the next Pokemon game.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really watch the direct about the next Pokemon game. All I know is that the reactions on the internet are very strange. People are thirsting very, very hard over the new professors, and I'm like, what is going on with the internet today?
I mean, in fairness, that's been happening for a couple generations.
Yeah, it seems more pronounced with this one.
Yeah. Pokemon fans are growing older, man.
And the fact that the professors are version exclusive too.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want Unga Bunga Cave Woman Professor, or do you want Giga Chad Meme Professor?
I think I saw one. I saw one place referring to the male professor as the Cyber Daddy.
Yeah. But yeah, marketing also worked, and that direct got me to finally buy Pokemon Shield. So I'm going to try to play through that before the next one. I don't know if I'll be able to get through it all by then, but we'll see. But yeah, that's about it for me. Y'all have Switches now. We can totally team up.
We could.
MOBAs are so much more fun when you have other people to play with. And don't have a bunch of extremely toxic people. And this game has no chat. It's
yeah,
great.
I mean, the one time that I really put any time into a MOBA at all was when we were at Rush Arcade back in the day, and would just
Dota 2.
Yeah, was it Dota? I thought it was just Dota.
Right? Yeah, the original.
I think it was
mod.
Warcraft 3, baby.
It was it was the Warcraft 3 mod, like way back. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Anyway. Yeah, so the only other thing I've been playing recently has been a game called Children of Morta. And it's a sort of Diablo-esque. It's a dungeon crawler. It doesn't really have gear, but it does have just like some simple kind of skill trees and really, it's like very much a lot more modern in that it's more of an action game than just point and click. But it's very much like kind of roguelite as well, where you're kind of going into these dungeons and off the top, I'm playing with April, and she was dying a lot, and I would be able to keep us kind of in the run, but then I would die too sometimes, and we'd just fail the run. And that would happen like maybe like a majority of the runs, like right at the beginning, we would just lose before clearing like a level of the dungeons. And then now, like at the end of the game, it's like just we're so overpowered from all the upgrades and all the new skills and abilities that we'll just go into a new level of the dungeon and clear it first try. So I don't know if the power curve of the game is like quite right. It seems like it starts kind of too hard and then becomes too easy, which is perhaps intentional. Some games do want a skill curve like that just to get a feel of like, oh yeah, but it feels like it leaned a bit too hard into it leaned a bit too easy, I think, near the end.
Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that you're playing co-op?
I don't know, actually, because it is really... so it has co-op, only 2-player co-op. So you can play it single-player or 2-player. But it's been fairly well known for being a good co-op game, and that feels like it was kind of part of the design fairly specifically. I don't know if the difficulty curves are different single-player, because I haven't played it single player.
Okay.
Maybe you should try a single player run just to see if it makes a difference.
Yeah, maybe. Could be worth trying. But I've really enjoyed the game. It's definitely a really good co-op game if if you're looking for something to play that's not super heavy. I say that. Like, it's definitely a lot simpler than something like Diablo. But I'd say like really gets that sort of same spirit in terms of what's going on. So yeah, I've been liking it a lot. Also, it has beautiful sprite art. It's a very nice looking game, and they've got this sort of kind of more modern pixel art aesthetic where they've got a lot of like pixel shaders and things going on sort of like particle effects, and like pixel glowing kind of shaders that they cause glow to happen on things, but it still is like individual pixels that you can see. So it's a really cool kind of art style that I like. And yeah, it's got enough variety. It's got like seven or eight characters, I think. So it's got quite a number of different characters with different play styles. There's some ranged characters. There's, some just like a swordsman, right? There's like a monk. There's like a rogue kind of like assassin build. And they
Archer?
Yeah, there's an archer, a mage, fire mage. There's like a staff. There's like an interesting character that's like kind of a hybrid where it's a staff user that like she uses the staff as a melee weapon, but she also uses the staff as a magic weapon.
Combat mage.
Yeah, that and it's kind of an intermediate range as well. So it's sort of an interesting hybrid of a melee and ranged magic user. So yeah, they've got a lot of sort of classic archetypes of like what you'd see in that kind of like fantasy dungeon crawler in terms of the characters and kind of ideas around skill pools and stuff like that. So yeah, I like it a lot. I've had a lot of fun with it. I think it's definitely one of those games that's worth checking out, and especially worth checking out if you're looking for something to play co-op, especially something if you're looking for something that's easy to play with someone who's maybe not as skilled.
doesn't have a wealth of experience.
Yeah. I mean, not that April's doing badly, but definitely, you know, I was kind of carrying things sometimes. But that is to be expected.
All right, so now, Matt, you've actually played a lot of new stuff.
I finished 2 games, and I started a new one last night. So the first game I finished is pretty much a decade in the making. I finally finished Apollo Justice.
Oh my god.
Ace Attorney.
That's right. Finally.
Don't want to talk too much on it. Just, I mean, very story-driven game. Could be very easily spoiled, but just my thoughts on each case. That is the best first case of the games I've played.
Agreed.
Second case is kind of forgettable. Not very many memorable characters, as you've mentioned before, Santo. Mm-hmm. Third case, it started out strong, but for me personally, I think it landed a little flat. But as for the final case, that has to be my personal favorite case.
It's really good. It's really up there. It's top 3 for me for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely up there with the final case of the first game, mm-hmm. and for me, the third case of the third game. It's a great case. Mm-hmm. I just love the way they present the day 2 investigation to you.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And there's also a lot of reveals in that case.
Yeah.
Some of which I think are a little convenient, but it's fine.
I mean, most story-driven media, everything's a little too convenient.
This one goes a little bit farther, I think. Like, it's convenient by, like, story media standards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, finally glad that you're finished that. Alex, it's your turn.
Yeah, I know. I started replaying, I think the third game on the bus, and then I've just been working from home again, and so I haven't been riding the bus.
Yep.
And so I didn't play anymore.
Oh, you've gained all this time from not having to commute to play less game.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next game the next game I finished was Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Okay.
I've still yet to play the integrated DLC, so I still need to play that. But I've finished the base game, and yeah, no, it's I'm not sure where I stand on it.
Okay.
Like, I enjoyed playing it. It's, like, and I don't want to say too much because I know you want to...
At this point, like, feel free to say anything except for when the game ends. Okay. That is still a surprise to me, and I want to keep it that way. Okay. I want to know, like, at what point they stop.
Yeah. So it's a good retelling of the events, and they even... It seems like they're going for making a linear experience across the 3 games, but they also don't want you to miss out on anything. Because, like, the Hell House was a mandatory fight in this, whereas it was an optional thing in the original. So it feels like they're trying to get, like, everything Final Fantasy VII had to offer into the linear experience of it.
Okay.
But there is also some new story elements. Oh. That's what I'm a little unsure of at the moment. I kind of need to see where it goes with the next parts. And, well, since part 2 doesn't come out until next winter, so likely, I want to say February 2024, and that's the PlayStation release. It's going to be likely longer for the PC release, which is where I played it. That gives me plenty of time to play through the original in its entirety beforehand. But, well, before that comes out, there's also the remake of... Is it Crisis Core?
One of those.
Which one is it you play as Zack? Is that Crisis Core?
I think so.
Yeah, because
Dirge of Cerberus, you play as Vincent.
Yeah, because they're also doing a remake of Crisis Core.
Man, there are too many Final Fantasy VII games.
Yes.
It's Final Fantasy is a franchise. Final Fantasy VII is its own franchise at this point.
At least they didn't give it a dumb name like they did with the Final Fantasy 13 Fabula Nova Crystallis universe.
What?
Listen, okay, Square Enix is a bad, dumb company doing bad, dumb things. But you know what I'll say about them? At least they're doing these bad, dumb things. Because with series as long as Final Fantasy, like, what would you be thinking if they were just kind of releasing the same game over and over again?
Yeah.
Like, people would probably like be super bored of it at this point. But they've kept doing really weird decisions with it.
Yeah, I suppose it's, attempts to keep a series fresh are better than just rehashing something over and over.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. At least,
Listen, I've got Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins downloaded. I will start playing it at one point, then I will choose to agree or not agree with you. Because that just sounds like they really went out there.
Yeah. I don't know. I know nothing about that, so I'm sure you'll fill us in later.
It's a retelling of Final Fantasy 1, except with a dude that has a t-shirt and jeans as your main character.
What?
And listens to Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, it listens to Limp Bizkit.
Huh?
And is done by Team Ninja, right? Like the people who made Neo. That was
I'm
Team
not
Ninja,
sure.
right? Regardless, it's like an action game.
But it's... Wait, it's an action game.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's still in the Final Fantasy 1 sort of like fantasy setting?
Yeah.
It's an isekai. To my understanding, it's an isekai now.
Really?
Yes.
Fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to 7. I did say before that the combat was pretty simple. That was before I got really deep into the materia. Like, there's linking materias, so there's linking slots on weapons and armor. Like, if you have the right linking materia and an elemental, you can have your weapon do that elemental damage on attacks.
Right, yeah.
And the one thing I will say I don't like is, like the original, there's certain characters that aren't available to you at certain times.
Yeah.
So when Aerith is not in my party, I am dividing the healing duties across the rest of the party. But yeah, so basically every character, it's pretty much just, you've got your primary attack button. You've got, in Cloud's case, his secondary changes his stance to a slower, more hard-hitting attack. For Tifa, it's an uppercut. Barrett's, it's a big gunshot that you have to charge up. And for Aerith, it's a little magical spell. But as you're playing, much like the original, you're waiting for your ATB meter to charge up so you can select a move or a spell, and that's where your big damage comes from. In fact, there's even a classic mode where the characters will control themselves. They'll block, they'll attack on their own, and then you just have to worry about the meter and casting spells or your bigger attacks. Which I think originally, I think the classic mode was only on the easy difficulty, but I think they've added classic on the other difficulties as well.
Okay.
So you can play it like the original pretty much if you want to. The game itself, it looks absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful looking game. And I like how they fleshed out some side characters, gave them some more personality, so it feels like you have a bit more of a fleshed out world, at least in what Remake covers so far.
All right. Well, these days I'll play it. All these days.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll play it, but it looks nice.
Yeah.
I've seen some videos and screenshots.
And you guys showed up when I was at my place when I was fighting Hell House.
Yeah, we watched you in the Hell House fight.
And I was controlling Cloud, and I was just like, get back down here because the Hell House is flying around. And then I got my wish, and it landed right on me, and Cloud's dead now. Over to Aerith.
You can't kill a cloud. Those are made of water vapor.
I got nothing, man.
Yeah. Okay, but so there's another game I played, which I actually started last night, and I couldn't put it down. I had to stop myself so I could go shower and go to bed. And it just came out too. It's called Cult of the Lamb. Mm-hmm. You guys familiar with it at all?
So I saw the reveal trailer for it, but the reveal trailer for it doesn't really tell you anything about the gameplay. It's mostly just like, here's cute things in Satan. I'm just like, all right.
So Cult of the Lamb is a action roguelite. Kind of in the style of Binding of Isaac, where you go into a room, you have to kill the enemies that are in there before you can move on to another one, and you've got the different branching exits that you can choose from. But that's only part of it. The time I put into it, I've probably only spent a quarter of the time doing the runs, because this game is also a cult management simulator.
All right.
I've spent 3/4 of the time I've been playing this managing my cult, and I don't know. I can't put it down. So yeah, you do your runs to you can get some resources on the runs and pick up some new followers for your cult, and then indoctrinate them into your cult. But your cult worshipping you is basically it's how you get all your upgrades. So you've got to maintain your cult's faith. You've got to keep them fed. So you've got to grow crops. It's like a very twisted Animal Crossing. And it's visually the game. I want to say it's Paper Mario-esque, because everything's just like a 2D little like paper craft looking thing, but it's a really cute game because like you're a lamb, and then like all your cultists are other animals, and when you indoctrinate them, you can actually fully customize them. So if you want like a certain aesthetic for your cultists, you can go for that. But
everyone gets a pointy hat.
Unfortunately, no hats.
No hats?
No.
What kind of game has customization without hats?
You can just choose.
They're cultists. They're crazy.
Everyone knows every cult needs a good hat, though.
But yeah, you can choose what type of animal they are, of the ones you've unlocked, their color, and some of them have little variations. I'll usually go for the variation where the animal has like some like cult paintings on like their face. Now, as you can do in a cult, if you want, you can sacrifice cult members. And like that'll give you some experience. Like the first time I had a side quest to sacrifice a cult member, and I was like, I don't know who to sacrifice. And then one of my cultists walk up to me, and they're like, oh, I've gotten too old to work around here anymore. Like I didn't even know that they aged. So I'm like, all right, you can't pull your weight around here anymore. You're the one getting sacrificed.
Yeah.
Harsh.
No
respect for the elders in Matt's cult.
Straight up Logan's Run.
But at least, and early on, like before you get outhouses, your cultists will just shit all over the place, and you have to clean up after them. Now it can be used as manure for growing your crops, which that's great. But I had one cultist come up to me who was just like, I've always wanted to eat poop. Make me a meal with poop.
Okay.
So I did. They ate it. It's like, okay. But you can. But if you
That's just unsanitary.
yeah. Well, speaking of unsanitary, if you don't clean up all the poop, if villagers go near it, they'll get sick, and if they get too sick, you'll have to just tell them to sleep because they need to rest. But yeah, it's you got to manage like it. I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun with this aspect of the game, like just managing the cult, getting the resources to build more structures for the I guess the compound.
So very much like someone's just taken a action roguelite and just fused it to some like distorted, corrupted like honestly it sounds more like Harvest Moon than Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that sounds amusing, I suppose.
Yeah, it's I've definitely been enjoying it. I lost track of the time playing it last night, and yeah, I've barely done any actual like runs into the roguelite element. I've just been managing the cult, which like is entirely possible. Well, not entirely, but you can just spend a lot of time managing them and then go do runs when you have nothing else you can do.
That's so weird.
I mean,
I've got nothing else to do, but I guess I'll like do the action part of this game.
Yeah,
it's like people who played Sonic Adventure 2 and they're like,
Chow Garden.
It's just this is just the Chow Garden simulator, and I have to go complete a level just to get some skill upgrades for my Chow. I guess so.
Speaking of Sonic Adventure 2, I did not know that there are multiple songs in which Knuckles raps.
Oh,
I thought there was just the one.
What, the Pumpkin Hill one?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like every level, like every Knuckles level, there's a Knuckles rap.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I guess there is a good Sonic game.
Yeah, in some of them he just like raps about the Master Emeralds and how he's finding them, and I'm like, what is even going on with it? That was, even at the time I was like, this is a strange choice for the music for these levels.
So yeah, Cult of the Lamb.
yeah. If you like cute animals and you've always wanted to start a cult, I'd recommend it. I can't wait for the first news report blaming Cult of the Lamb for a cult that gets started.
Oh god. What's Jack Thompson doing these days? Still disbarred? I think we're good.
Man, that's a throwback. I haven't heard fucking Jack Thompson brought up in a long time.
We're old. So I think that's everything we've been playing, but that's not everything that everybody else has been playing, because Evo just happened.
Yes. I was able to watch the last day of Evo. So I mostly watched the Street Fighter Grand Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Or the final top 8 of Grand Finals, and that was pretty cool to watch. But there were also a lot of announcements. All right, but first, this isn't an actual announcement. Santo, you love CVS too, don't you?
Love it.
So they actually, at the Capcom and SNK booths, there were posters you could pick up. The SNK booth had... Well, both booths the poster had 4 characters on them. Each had 2 Capcom characters and 2 SNK characters. The Capcom one was drawn by a Capcom artist, and the SNK one drawn by an SNK artist.
Just like in CVS too.
And on them all, they said Capcom versus SNK. But they didn't announce anything. But I feel like there's got to be some talks there for a new project.
Yeah, priming the pump.
Which would be...
Maybe they finally convinced the Saudi prince that has a controlling stake in SNK to join up with Capcom.
All right, but yeah, so the first...
He's too busy buying League of Legends gear.
Or funding WWE pay-per-views.
I don't know. I just remember that someone posted a screen cap online of the character of one of the Saudi princes in fucking League of Legends, and it's like just... like literally like thousands and thousands of dollars on lol shit.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, there's the whale. That's sweet oil money. Does that mean that... wait, does that mean... Oh, man. Don't think about where your whales come from, game devs.
So the first big announcement to come out of EVO was the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 arcade 1-up cabinet, which Marvel vs. Capcom 2 has been in a limbo since 2013 when it got delisted from Xbox Live and PlayStation Store. And so Arcade 1-Up is releasing a mid-size reproduction Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet that has more than just Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's also got Marvel vs. Capcom 1, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men Children of the Atom.
How many are there?
X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, and Marvel Superheroes in War of the Gems.
I did not know there were so many Marvel versus blank.
Well, there's a bunch of just Marvel fighting games, but there are, there were 2 different versus Street Fighter games before Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah.
So silly.
I didn't actually know that.
This was the era where like fighting games were releasing like they'd release and then there'd be a revision later on in the year that they release.
Yeah.
It's like a different version of Street Fighter 2. We get that now with DLC passes.
Yeah, which we'll get to a bit later. But, these cabinets, from everything I've heard, they're great reproduction cabinets. They try to get them as... They're running on emulation, but they try to get them as arcade perfect as possible. In fact, Justin Wong has been helping a lot on this to try and get Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as close to arcade perfect as possible. Mm-hmm. Which is good, because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of, if not the most beloved fighting game by a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So this is something that a lot of people are probably going to try and snatch up, because, I mean, there's no way of knowing if Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is going to see the light of day again. Because it's very possible that after Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the relationship between Marvel and Capcom could be very soured at this point now. Because it almost seems as though part of the licensing deal for this is... They haven't said anything, but could just be that there's only going to be a certain number of units.
Yeah.
So the pre-orders for this go live on, I believe it's the 8th of September. And they are $599 US.
$599 US?
Yeah.
I have done the
Ridge
Racer! Yep. I've done the math because I really want to actually grab this. It's going to be a runabout with tax and shipping fee and duty fees. It's going to end up running about 1,100 Canadian.
I mean, the shipping on that cabinet must be a killer.
I tested by throwing another cabinet on their website into the cart and going through the checkout process to see what the shipping would come to. It was like $91. So
it's not that bad, I guess.
They don't come assembled. You got to put them together yourself.
Okay.
Flat pack.
Yeah.
IKEA cabinet.
Oh, God.
Except they've got a... I looked it up because I was curious. They've got an instructional assembly, just a generic assembly video for these cabinets, because they've done a lot at this point. Better instructions than IKEA. I've always wanted an arcade cabinet of some kind, because I missed out on arcades as a kid. Like, I had maybe 2 trips to Palladium at Metrotown before that shut down, and whatever they had on the ferries. That was my arcade experience. I feel like I missed out, so like I want an arcade cabinet of some kind, and I think this is the one. I mean, I'd also like a pinball machine, but that takes up significantly more floor space.
Yep. Oh, they're making a Rush pinball machine.
Oh.
And it looks so good.
Like Rush the band
Yeah.
or Rush the...
Rush the band.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
I would like a San Francisco Rush art pinball machine. I wouldn't be that excited about.
Okay. I don't know. Hey, man, San Francisco Rush. Talking about arcades. Rush 2049 pinball machine. When?
Well,
Anyway, yeah, a Rush arcade. So, wait, what? Oh, yeah, pinball machine.
Pinball. Yeah, not arcade machine.
Sorry, my brain's crossing wires right now.
Now, Arcade 1-Up does also do pinball machines, but they're digital pinball machines. If I got a pinball machine, I'd want the real deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Arcade 1-Up cabinets, though, being a smaller scale, I think that's fine. They do generally come with a riser to bring the height up as well. But just the fact that you're usually getting more than one game on these as well, and the fact that they're complete with online multiplayer with rollback netcode.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And so they actually released a previous cabinet that had a lot of these games on it. It's the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was the glaring omission. This cabinet is backwards compatible with the games that it shares on that other cabinet as well. But yeah, moving on.
One more thing, though, I gotta say, though. Do you really want to play those games online? On that machine, with that community of people that also bought that machine?
I am fully aware that I am going to get my ass beat.
Yeah. It's bad enough trying to play a fighting game like 6 months after it came out online. How about 12 years or whatever?
Yeah.
Longer than that. Fuck.
But speaking of online, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax dropped their rollback netcode update.
Yeah, I saw there was an announcement about that, and now's the time for me to get back in.
Yep.
Get my ass kicked.
I've had it since it came out, but I haven't hopped in yet. I got to. Love the game. Great game.
One of, if not my actual favorite fighting game. So good.
Okay. So they also SNK announced crossplay coming to KOF 15 and rollback for Samurai Showdown, which I think Sam Show is like 3 years old at this point, and the one thing I wanted to check it out, but the one thing I heard was the online was horrible. So it's nice to see that game finally releasing. KOF though, that great, and at this point crossplay should be a staple for fighting games along with rollback, because fighting games probably have the biggest drop off in players after release. So having crossplay so that the player base isn't divided across platforms is great huge for this genre. Next, Skullgirls. They announced the final character for the first season pass.
Hold on. Is this the same? Isn't that game like almost a decade old?
Yes.
Wow.
And they put out a season pass last year.
Great.
2 of the characters are already out. Black Dahlia is can play her in the Endless Beta. It's nice to see Skullgirls still getting love, especially since it was a main stage game at EVO this year. First time. I wish I could have caught that. It was early on Friday. I went for some overtime on that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Skullgirls still lives.
I mean, they're Skullgirls, right? They're not alive or dead. They simply continue to exist.
I mean, the character I played was a cat girl that was stitched together, had all her body parts stitched together. She could like chuck her head at people.
And I remember because I would play Valentine, the nurse, and that head on her, if Miss Fortune's head was just on the ground, it would interrupt my super.
Yep. Right, your name, it was Misfortune. It's funny because there's a lead character that's also named Misfortune. It's like, yes, I get the pun.
And what's this? A Bandai Namco game getting rollback? It's not Tekken, though.
Nope.
Dragon Ball Fighterz is getting rollback netcode.
Finally.
However, not on the Xbox One or PS4 versions. They're re-releasing it. You can get an upgrade to the PS5 Series X or S version, but the Steam version will be updated. And I don't know why you would choose to play on delay-based netcode, but on the Steam version you can choose... You'll be able to choose delay-based or rollback.
Weird? I don't know.
Wouldn't that limit the player base that you can play with, like through matchmaking, though?
Yeah.
It seems like a weird choice. Oh well.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did just repurchase Fighterz on Steam with the season, because I only had the first 2 season passes on PS4, and I hadn't played since I think Videl dropped at the start of season 2. I didn't know that at that time each character only had 1 assist. You've played it more recently.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that you had 3 assists to choose from for each character now, like MVC.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a completely different game for me going back in. And then back to SNK. This is structured weirdly. I guess it's in the order the announcements were in, but they announced the... I don't like KOF's season model.
Yeah?
The game came out in February, and it's halfway through Season 2 already for characters.
Okay.
Because they're dropping them as teams, not as individual characters like other games.
Oh, okay.
So you're paying $40 for the pass, and you're getting 6 characters, so pretty much it's on par with any other fighting game. But they're dropping as teams a couple months apart, and so we're already halfway through Season 2, and Season 3's been announced.
Huh.
So they started by showing off a trailer for the first, which this had already been shown. It's Team Orochi for the first slot for Season 2.
Yep.
And that dropped on the 8th, I believe. But the second team, which is coming out in the fall, is Hiromaru Nakaruru and Darlie Dagger from Samurai Showdown, Team Samurai, which I'm looking forward to adding Darlie Dagger to my team because I love her design.
When does the Samurai Pizza Cats team drop?
I'm waiting for the Capcom team.
That'd be funny. Alright, it's Ryu, Ken, and Akuma.
But they did also show off...
Exact fucking same.
They did also show off 2 of the characters for Season 3, which is Shingo Yabuki and Kim Kapuan.
Okay, it's good that they're adding Kim, because Kim is a staple and should be in the game. I could pass on Shingo.
But the big news from SNK is they announced that a new Fatal Fury Garou title has been greenlit.
Wow.
So that the first game in the Fatal Fury series in over 20 years now.
Oh man. So in Fatal Fury, Terry threw his hat. In Garou Mark of the Wolves, he threw his jacket. Is he gonna throw his pants in this one?
But all they showed off was some like a nice piece of artwork with Rock, just in an alleyway with 2 silhouetted characters in the background.
Rock Howard.
Yep.
Yeah. And
then rather than announcing rollback, Bandai Namco teased a new Tekken project.
Okay.
The trailer is a little goofy because it starts out showing the scene from Tekken 1 with Kazuya just dropping Heihachi off the cliff,
Yes.
and then it just zooms into his really goofy smile, and then it just cuts to like a modern like graphic Kazuya, and all it says is "Get ready." And then like it cuts to and then on the feed it cuts to the commentators booth, and they're like freaking out, and Harada comes in and just starts like kind of like knocking around one of the other announcers, and then he just leaves. He doesn't say anything. He just Harada teases new Tekken title, refuses to elaborate, leaves.
Hey man, his work speaks for itself.
I'm not a big Tekken guy, but yeah. Now, as for whether it's Tekken 8, Tag 3, or because of the lead up, a remake, who knows?
Yeah. I haven't played Tekken since like the beat 'em up mode that was in either 5 or 6. Because Tekken has weird modes.
No, am I thinking Mortal Kombat with like the bowling minigame?
I think they've both had bowling minigames.
Mortal Kombat had a kart racer in it too.
Yes.
Didn't it? Yeah.
What? That seems that's surprising.
Listen, kart starts with a K. Okay?
Yeah.
Argument 1.
Combat card.
And then next up for Street Fighter 6, they revealed new character Kimberly and Jury. Mm-hmm. Jury being a returning from 4.
What about Judge and Executioner?
Man, it is Capcom. Now I'm just imagining the Judge from Phoenix Wright in Street Fighter.
Oh.
But Kimberly, she seems to be the student of Guy.
Who?
I don't know. That's what I've heard.
Guy was one of the characters in Final Fight.
Okay, yeah, and
he was the one that wasn't Cody or Hagar. So why would you play him?
But she looks pretty flashy, and she's got some spray paint based moves, which it like KOF 15 also has a character with spray paint. It's like, I like the aesthetic.
Listen, they're going in the wrong direction, okay? Paint is something that you put on a surface and it stays there for a while. They need to bring back oil. They need to bring back Hakan.
I mean, the paint really does make sense because they are really pushing the hip hop aesthetic with Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
And then Jury, foot fetishists eating well, I guess.
Yes.
But she also seems to just, with Bison dead, she's just bored now, and like her victory pose, she just sits on the opponent and just pulls out her phone and I guess just starts shitposting on Twitter. But yeah, and as for the last announcement of EVO, Bridget is back in Guilty Gear.
Yes, the most important announcement.
Yeah, this is the best announcement out of all of them as far as I'm concerned.
And
hasn't been in a Guilty Gear game in how many years? Like 10
been
or
a while, yeah.
more? Like since the PS2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think the last one...
I have to say, though, out of all of the characters in the Guilty Gear games I've played, Bridget is actually one of the funnest to play.
Oh, yeah.
The yo-yo
she's
stuff's
fun.
just like...
Yeah.
It's so good.
Mr. Bear, it's a good time.
I think the last game was Isuka, which is that weird four-player one.
That doesn't count.
Which has a change direction you're facing button.
Yep.
Oh,
They saw Smash Bros. And took the wrong lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hop on Strive, and I gave her a shot, and she's fun. Real
Nice.
fun.
Nice.
I'm a fan of any character with ass-based offense. Okay, that's why I play Peach in Smash Bros. It's the side B.
That's why I play Yoshi.
Yes.
But yeah,
Flip it.
I think the biggest thing about Bridget coming to Strive is the fact that she is now canonically trans.
Yeah. It's good. Fighting games are finally like being somewhat progressive.
Yeah, I mean,
their
in
characters.
Season 1, they added
Testament, right?
Testament, made them look a lot more androgynous, and gave them they/them pronouns.
Yeah. Confirmed non-binary.
Yep.
Yeah. There was one more piece of news from Nintendo of America. In light of the recent news regarding older fighting game titles receiving rollback netcode and the many positive reactions to those news, we have decided to make Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's input delay when playing online even worse.
This is good shit posting right there.
That is a high quality shit post. Mm-hmm. It's Nintendo of America with a K.
Yes.
For the viewers.
Parody Twitter accounts. Gotta love them. Yeah, that's a lot of announcements out of Evo. I'm actually kind of surprised.
Yeah.
This is why all the fighting games struggle to find a player base, because there's so goddamn many.
Well, there wasn't for a very long time. There was a big dry spell until Street Fighter 4 came around.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, this year's Evo was in person, yeah?
Yeah, because I believe the last two were online.
Yeah. And now they're bringing all the netcode in.
Yeah. Actually, the disappointing thing about that, the 2020 Evo being canceled and just going online, was they were going to have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 as a main stage title.
Oh, wow. That's rough. It's like, all right, we're playing it online. Don't ask us how. But emulators have features.
I mean, Fightcade 2 is great.
Yeah, I think actually, really disappointingly, over the pandemic, there was a major Smash Bros. Tournament, and they tried to do an online, tournament. Keep in mind, I think this was, one of the older titles. Probably Melee. I don't know. I can't remember the exact one, but it was probably Melee. And they were trying to do it online. And Nintendo actually shut them down.
Yeah,
because
no surprise.
They had to use...
They barely let Evo play Smash Bros. Games, so that's not surprising.
Yeah, and so even though this was like a fairly high-profile Smash tournament, Nintendo was just like, no, screw you guys. You can't do anything if it's not in person because of, issues.
I do think the pandemic opened up some developers' eyes to what rollback can do. Because for some games, when the best solution for online was through Parsec with a neutral position, with a neutral third hosting the game.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's it for fighting games.
Yeah. Fighting games with cash money prizes.
Yeah. And speaking of cash money prizes, last time we talked about Critical's $20,000 Halo 2 challenge. It has been beaten.
That's way quicker than I thought it would be.
I mean, it's funny because he specifically went out of his way to find something that had been accomplished by 0 people, even though it was known for quite a long time. And even still, once that incentive's there, people are just like, no, I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beaten by Jervalen. The run took him just shy of 6.5 hours.
No, the run took him a month. Let's be real.
Well, the complete run.
I know.
Yeah.
But, he was also apparently the first person to do a flawless Halo 2 run with all the skulls on.
Mm-hmm.
And this challenge was to have the Envy skull off.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think when the prize money got upped from 5,000 to 20,000, that I think he had actually kind of had some of the most success thus far in his streams. So no surprise, I think, that he took the prize.
Yeah, so that's another game accomplishment, game achievement checked off the books that somebody's done it.
Yep.
Yep.
Somebody's done it. Now there's no point in anyone else doing it ever again.
Yep.
Do it again, but faster.
Exactly. Is there a new speedrun.com category or whatever?
Can check.
That would be just ridiculous. People start speedrunning it.
Listen, speedrunners are a breed of their own, to be as nice as possible. The amount of insane speedruns that exist, like one of the most insane is the one for a GameCube JRPG called Batten Kaitos, with a subtitle, I forget what that is.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And like the speed run is multiple days long. All because of one item that requires you to spend a certain amount of in-game time to get. So the speed run is actually like play the game, just like through the main game, just like trying to 100% everything, and then going to sleep and leaving the game on.
Wow.
And then waking up and completing more of it, and then falling asleep and leaving the game on.
I just saw that apparently the world record speedrun for Heavy Rain starts with Ethan just going downstairs and just sitting on his couch in his underwear for 3 minutes.
Okay. Does that like skip a bunch of the kid stuff or something?
Maybe.
Were they just stunting on everyone else by being so fast that they could afford to waste 3 minutes?
How can you... Okay, Heavy Rain's a really weird game to speedrun because you could just make a macro to play that game.
Yeah.
Like, all the inputs are shown to you.
I mean,
And when they're shown to you. Like, very explicitly. So I know you're probably about to say most games you could probably do that.
To be fair,
but
any game.
This game would be very easy to do that in.
Yeah.
Unless it was the PS3 version. Because didn't the PS3 version have to use the motion controls?
I mean...
I could swear it had to use the motion controls.
Maybe. But yeah, if there's like no random buttons that you have to press in that game, then yeah, there is a,
Yeah.
there is a string that you could input.
It's more of a
timestamps.
It's more of a movie with at QuickTime events, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a grape eating simulator.
Grape eating simulator?
One of the first things you do is just eat some grapes.
Okay.
I think. Whatever.
I never played it. I don't know.
I have no interest.
I have watched Let's Plays, and that's all I need.
Yeah, same.
David Cage is a hack.
Yeah, so is that it? Is that all we got this week?
I believe that's all we have. But that's not all that you can experience from us this week. If you want to check us out on YouTube, you can do so, 3 Levels Deep. We've been putting up a fair amount of stuff recently, actually. And our XCOM Chimera Squad Let's Play is finally live.
And that actually should be releasing every Sunday?
Every Saturday. I released the first episode on a Sunday because I was lazy that Saturday and didn't make a thumbnail for it. But subsequent episodes will be releasing every Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Nice.
And if you want to get in contact with us, you can do so at 3levelsdeep at outlook.com. Alternatively, you can check us out on Twitter at 3levelsdeep. And we're also on Twitch, 3 Levels Deep TV. I promise to start streaming there in September when I have a little bit more time.
You heard it here, folks. We're going to get our act together.
Yes.
Believe it when you see it.
This is legally binding.
Yes. We have now entered into a contract with the listeners.
Yeah. Yeah, but if, we don't have enough listeners, the contract doesn't bind. That's how it works. If no one's there to listen to the verbal agreement, was a verbal agreement made?
In a forest.
While the document fell over.
The document was made of paper, which was made of a tree.
Can you make a verbal agreement over a pre-recorded audio format?
That is an exciting legal question that I don't know the answer to.
Can you bring a recording of a verbal confirmation somewhere? And if it's specific enough, can that be used as somebody's confirming something for legal reasons? I don't know. I kind of hope not.
I mean, what is a taped confession but a verbal agreement that you committed a crime?
Yeah, but generally, I don't know. Most taped confessions are probably, witnessed.
How do you get that notarized?
I don't know. All right, I'm gonna go become a notary, and then we'll get this podcast legally binding.
You sign with the waveform.
Yeah. All right, here's my waveform signature. Whoa. That's probably about as legible as most people's signature if you look at the waveform, honestly.
It could either be a waveform or it could be a doctor's signature. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. And speaking of signatures, we're going to sign off. See you around.
We're going to go play some golf.
Yeah, we're going to golf with our friends in real life.
Whoa! Waiver waveform waves right to wave.
Formally.